Hey guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip. How you doing? How you doing? What's going on? Thank you guys for allowing me to be part of your day as always. I'm so appreciative. Please know that. I've been around for about 14, 15 months now, and it's because of you that we have this community that we have. And I it's you guys. It's you guys, because there's only one of me. There's over 18,000 of you. So thank you so much. Guys, did you see? Did you hear? Have you been listening? Have you been following the FOIAs? I've been watching and listening to Ivory Rose and Nina, the beauty influencer, going over these FOIAs word by word by word. Wow. So there has been some extreme prejudice here and what looks like just awful ethical behavior, or I should say non ethical behavior, on behalf of Dan Patterson and Mike Stanfield. And guys, why wasn't Nick treated fairly? Why he wasn't treated fairly from the moment that they arrested them. As we saw the difference in the interrogation rooms and the interrogations, until it was realized, everything shifted in the interrogation when it was realized that Nick was telling the truth and Gypsy was not, and that Nick followed a plan that Gypsy masterminded. That's when things started changing. But then something happened in the courtroom where it went back to the unevenness of a justice that was totally injustice. It's just horrible. Okay? Because Nick is still doing life and Gypsy perjured herself on stand, and it seems with evidence that people knew about it and just allowed it to happen, and nobody really stood up for Nick and fought for Nick. And when there was a battle to have the trial be more fair, it was squashed. Was this all so that it would appear that justice was done? Because in the minds, they painted a story that was so fictional and so make-believe that now that these FOIAs have come out, what they've done is unleashed a monster on society, a dangerous creature on society, and they know it. So if anything were to happen to that child that they have, Gypsy and Ken, if it's their kid, who's ever kid, if there is a kid, if anything should happen to that, do you know the lawsuits that will come into play with all of this information that has come out, with all of this information that is now being sent to mainstream media and main news broadcasts of the basic cover-up? For what? Why? Why did Nick have to be the pawn to everybody? Why was he the sacrificial lamb? Why was his life considered disposable when other people's lives were considered more important? Why wasn't it able to be that Nick was allowed a fair trial? Because Gypsy would have been thrown away for life. Gypsy would have been thrown away for life. And that bullshit narrative that's coming from the other side, where Nick was offered these plea deals. Each plea deal he was offered still meant he was doing life. Each plea deal meant he was doing life. So what did he have to lose to fight for himself? So that narrative on the other side is wrong. When you look into the facts, instead of hearing the big mouths, you will know the facts. Check into them. I'm happy to send anybody that wants the FOIAs. I'm happy to send them the FOIAs. Just email me. You can email me and put in the subject matter, please send me the FOIAs. And I'll send them to you. You guys can read them. You don't have to read them from either side. You could read them yourselves. So, guys, what happened here, seriously, And if you listen to, I'm going to play some bits of Ivory Rose and Nina the beauty influencer so you can see how bad Nick was treated, unbeknownst to Nick. And all because the guy answered a dating app. You know, all because of that. Nick wasn't the violent monster that Gypsy portrayed him as. Gypsy created a character for Nick named Victor that would meet up with her evilness of Demona. And all he did was play a part in a make-believe in his head that he quite couldn't even understand, more than likely, because that's not the way autistic people think, supposedly. It's very black and white for them, I believe. And when you hear Nick talk in the interrogation, there isn't a gray in him. When he talks, period, there is no gray. It is very factual. It is very black and white. That is who he is. With Gypsy, there's fake accents, there's personas, there's a bullshit narrative, there's one lie after another lie after another lie. With Nick, where was the lies? Where is the changing characters? Where are the lies? What's going on here, guys? Was this all about an election? Was it really because people saw Gypsy as being this child that was ABUSED'd when they actually had other proof that she was the mastermind and the evil villain behind it all? Why didn't they just let that play out? Why did they interfere? What did anybody have to gain here in this? Why? And we're going to find that out. And I think with all this noise and stuff, there's going to be a lot of scrutinizing about all these major players involved in this case that managed to fuck up a case by making even the jurors prejudiced. There was shows that were allowed out that would make people perceive things a different way, bring more height to the case just days before the trial was to begin. Why? Isn't that unbelievable from every angle? And Nick was the pawn. Wow. Guys, let's listen to some of this stuff from Nina, the beauty influencer, and Ivory Rose. And guys, and check them out on TikTok as well as on YouTube.
The pre-trial publicity surrounding Mr. Godejohn's case was extremely intense, and it was. Pre-trial public scrutiny and fascination was very high due to the unusual underlying facts of the case, including an aspect of Munchausen by proxy syndrome perpetrated by the victim in this case. Mr. Godejohn's co-defendant, Gypsy Blanchard, pled guilty to second-degree murder on July 5, 2016. Her court proceedings were broadcast on television and made available on demand online. Co-defendant gave television interviews to Dr. Phil in 2020 that aired over a 3-day period prior to Nicholas's trial. Multiple videos regarding the case were available on YouTube through ABC News, Law and Crime Network, Dr. Phil, and others. In addition...
What page is that?
38.
38. Okay, thank you.
Where was I? In addition, HBO aired an hour-and-a-half special on May 16, 2017, titled Mommy Dead and Dearest, which contained extremely prejudicial content, including information on Nicholas's prior arrest record. On November 6, 2018, just 2 days before the jury selection began, Investigation Discovery aired an hour-and-a-half special titled Gypsy's Revenge, which also referenced extremely prejudicial information about Nicholas, including an allegation that Nicholas had a quote-unquote criminal past. The show aired a segment from KY3 broadcast, which revealed that Nicholas was arrested in 2013 after investigators say he was watching pornography and fondling himself in a McDonald's restaurant for 9 hours. It went on to allege that police found a large jabber on his person during that arrest. In addition to prejudicial and inadmissible information about a prior arrest, the show contained a mind-boggling array of prejudicial content, including 1. Extrajudicial statements by co-defendant Gypsy Blanchard about the event, including her recollection of how horrible it was to listen to a unaliving, and about statements allegedly made by Nicholas to her.
All right, guys, that's it. So we'll see you on the next one. Thank you again for allowing me to be part of your day. I so appreciate it, guys. I appreciate all your help and everything. And by the way, You don't have to donate right now. We're still on the very plus side of the ink and the cartridges and all of that and the paper for getting these letters out. I'm meeting with somebody on Tuesday and somebody else on Tuesday as well. So, yeah, we're going to take care of the stuff that's been going on criminally and with the cyber stalking and the bullying and all that stuff. And I think you'll start seeing some changes, hopefully. All right, guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip. Be better today than you were yesterday. Not half as good as you'll be tomorrow. Take care, guys. Thanks.